That last load that just came in, I swear to God, the guy was carrying a fucking puppy.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm almost sure of it.
I owe you Terrace Painting and Express Painting. I can tell you right now that when all our paint prices have gone up, it's caused by the fuel prices. I can tell you that my price, hold on, my prices have gone up, and it's caused because wages have gone up and paint has gone up. Okay, every time wages goes up, the economy doesn't get better, everyone doesn't do better, because what happens is everybody else raises their prices. So in the end of the month, you got no more money than you did before they raised minimum wage. And you know who's getting rich off that? Unions. Because it's the unions that are causing it to be raised. It's not the average person, because they don't have any more money.
Oil companies this last year have record profits. So anything that traces back to, that links to the price of oil has gone up. It's not because there's some shortage, not because it's because they've just price capped.
It looks like we got more coming into this camp, as you see.
It's a definitely complex issue. There's no question about it.
Yeah, but we could fix that just by shutting it down, keeping them and processing them through the ports of entry. Come through the port of entry. Why are they coming through this way?
Well,
there's a reason they come through
they'll
this way.
be stopped. And so if it was,
they're just going to wait here for border control.
decriminalized, so that if you want a worker permit, you can relatively easily get a worker permit.
Why don't you do that at the port of entry?
Well, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
And then also, if you want to request asylum, the head centers at the port of entry. But the trouble is, when they arrive now, a lot of times, well, first of all, God, we were in Douglas one time. The people were in a shelter here that wanted to cross. And here's the border station. They couldn't walk by themselves from one place to the other without being accosted by the cartel and having to pay more money.
Yeah, we were just talking about Douglas today.
So we'd have people have to accompany them just to walk to the, from one place to the other. It's crazy. We need a government in Mexico that's got some, to deal with it. That's for sure.
Yeah. What about the Remain in Mexico policy? What did you think about that?
Oh.
Wait there for amnesty?
Yeah, I didn't follow that real close, and I don't know what to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, the point of that was, you come to the port of entry, you file, then you wait for your amnesty, right? What's wrong with that? If really they're seeking amnesty to fleeing their country that is suppressing them, these people, you said these are from Mexico. I don't think Mexico is killing their people. So what are they fleeing from? How is that amnesty? No, they're bypassing it, but they're saying they're coming for amnesty? Unless I know something that I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of violence going on in Mexico.
That's not amnesty, So, it's when the government is suppressing the people and you got to leave because they're going after you, right? That's not happening here. So these people are coming through this way because they know they can't qualify by coming through the port of entry. But they also know that the Biden administration is going to process these people. They're going to come probably another half an hour with more vans and grab all these people that just came here in the last 10 minutes. And guess what? They're going to process them, they're going to claim amnesty, and they're going to be somewhere in our country.
And the problem is they're given a court date. Once they're given a court date, they can go 5, 6, 7 years down the road. The federal government right here will tell you, well, they don't know where 99% went. They've lost them once they're in America. I mean, we've been up like right where you said, Douglas. We've seen men come right on through a fighting age. They didn't even get checked by Border Patrol because we questioned Border Patrol why they didn't even check them. They just let them cross on in. They walk right across to Walmart there. You know what I'm talking about. Walmart, Taco Bell, jump in a vehicle. Next thing you know, they're off down the highway somewhere here in America. I mean, we're not doing anything to protect our borders at this point. It's basically welcome all. And again, we've got to find a way to put something in place to where we know who is here coming into our country. I mean, what's your thoughts on it?
Well, we probably agree. We differ on how we would do that, probably, but
How would you do it?
I would decriminalize the system so that people that want to get a worker permit could relatively easily get a worker permit, come and work, as long as they're working, fine. And then I would try to have centers where asylum seekers can go without having to pay the cartel, because I think we've given the cartel a business with our policy, a human trafficking business.
So how do you know who's all workers when you got millions pouring in through our borders? How do you know who's working and who's not? And how does the federal government keep track of who's even came in here to get a job? Or
Same way they keep track of all of us.
They don't keep track. That's why we have terrorist attacks on our soil as well.
No, the terrorist attacks came from Saudi Arabia. They were Saudi business people.
Well,
they weren't poor people who came from the border seeking asylum.
So
The majority.
So are you going to tell me the cartel hasn't come into our country and actually beheaded human beings?
Terrorist attacks, which, using it broadly over the last, since 9/11, have been white Christian American males. Most of the mass shootings. Most of them, not all. There's a few people of color here or there, occasional women, but almost all white Christian, born in America males. Those are the people who are doing the most. I mean, Oklahoma City, all the mass shootings. I mean, you can't argue with that. That is that is fact. What terrorist activities have happened? What terrorist acts have happened that have been linked to people coming through the border?
We've even had Border Patrol die down here at their hands. You going to tell me they haven't?
That was one. I'm talking about terrorists. I'm talking about mass scale, either mass shootings, large scale things that the general public would know.
Every time I turn on the news, there's mass shootings going on,
right,
and
a
lot
mostly white Christian American citizen men.
I'm going to disagree.
I don't think that's.
I'm going to disagree.
There are a few who weren't, definitely.
Most of them weren't. Most
You know, the ones that you
weren't.
don't hear about are the ones that, if it doesn't fit their narrative,
I see. So there's been lots of mass shootings that we haven't heard about done by people of color, Mexican.
Chicago has mass shootings.
they don't advertise it. You know, when it fits their narrative, they advertise
I
it.
see. So we don't. So the mass shootings we hear about are only the ones that are
No,
done.
that's it. That's the ones that get publicized the
I see.
most.
So, but you're saying that there have been significant mass shootings done by, say, people of color who've come across the border.
Well, they know for a fact there has.
Okay.
What about them?
Yeah, you obviously don't watch the news very much.
Yes, I do. There have been. I said it's not 100%, but yes, there have been. A large group of people have done mass shootings. The vast majority are white Christian American citizen men. Okay, but I mean,
Chicago has mass shootings every other weekend, but you don't hear about it because that's gang violence.
Yeah, they don't talk about it. That's
okay.
a perfect example.
Maybe
No one
but
does.
if that's gang, are those the people that came across the border legal? That's kind of like
No,
the
no,
issue.
no, no, no. You're
that they
trying to
were-
blame all
No, but
mass
you're talking-
shootings
you're-
on white Christian males.
No, I didn't say. I said most.
Most.
And I was
But
saying
he's
that.
pointing out that that's untrue
Right, but
because they haven't.
we were talking about securing the border and people coming in the border doing terrorism. But the terrorism that we've experienced is not from people coming across the border.
So you're going to tell me all the fentanyl pouring through our borders ain't an act of terrorism?
It's drug smuggling. It's something different, but it's not terrorism
Something
per se.
different? We got millions of Americans dying from this.
Yeah, it's.
And you call that just something different?
It's not terrorism.
And
it's
you
something
call that
else.
something different when we
Yes,
got
I
millions
do.
of Americans
Yes, I do.
dying?
Yes, I
So in other words, you have no compassion for Americans dying. Thank you. Appreciate you answering my question. All right, guys, you ready to roll? I think I've seen enough at this camp.
I honestly had no idea that we had things like this going on.
Every day.
We have camps on our side of the border with people that are providing food, water, all these things,
Yeah.
a place for them to stop and just wait. They just sit here and they wait for the Border Patrol to show up. Border Patrol grabs them in a van, sends them into the processing camp, and releases them into our country. And what's amazing is when you watch them get out of these trucks to where they've been picked up at the border.
That's right.
How happy, how they're hugging each other. It's like we've made it, and they know they're just going to be released out into the country.
Yeah.
I had no idea this was going on.
But we're seeing more and more of it every day. All right, guys. This is Jonathan Alexander reporting live with Live Border News, and we're going to end this broadcast.